Go ahead.
uh, Mehera-Meher, um, page 244. After 1932, Baba stopped Mera, Naja, and Small Khorshed from going to the movies. But Mani, when she was there, and her sister-in-law, Big Khorshed, were still permitted to go. After seeing one, they told the women the story and sang some of the songs to be worked up into skits. Once, when they were in the midst of rehearsing a dance drama, Baba asked for his food and it was not ready. They explained that they had been practicing. From then on, Baba put a stop to their plays and skits. Baba was on the move throughout October 1932, traveling back and forth between Nasik, Bombay, Panchgani, and Pune. On 18 October, he took the women to Indori for a week on the Punjab mail train. Gulmai, Sunamasi, Fraini, Dina Talati, and Haja, that was Ramju's sister-in-law, accompanied them. Indori was a pleasant place with an abundance of toddy palm. Since the toddy was inexpensive, Baba let the women sample some of the slightly intoxicating drink. He also took the women to see Rajwada, the Holkar Palace with its huge white crystal chandeliers, and to the Kanch Mandir, glass temple, a Jain temple where everything, the walls, ceiling, floor, pillars, and doors, are inlaid with glass, shimmering enchantingly. I'll have to go there. Scenes done in colored glass depicting stories from the Jain scriptures adorn the walls. And at the top is a special glass chamber, which multiplies the three statues of Lord Mahavir installed there into an infinite number. Upon their return from Indori, they found their Brahmin neighbors outside airing and sunning their bedding to get rid of bed bugs. This was a great relief to the women, as they had been troubled for a long time by the bed bugs coming into their side of the house, and for this reason, they had kept the middle doors dividing the house firmly shut at all times. Still, many bed bugs had come. The family was friendly, however, and the women were glad to have someone next door and even went to visit them once. Mara, who always enjoyed deep sleep, had not been bothered much by the bed bugs. She was more troubled by mosquitoes, which were attracted to her somehow. On 21 November, Baba sailed for Europe on his fourth visit to the West. He was out of India for over 2 months. It was on this visit to London that Baba invited the Westerners to come to India. For the first time, he told them about Mara's special role and her intense love for him. Mara is my Radha, and her life consists of my happiness. When you see her, you will have an idea of what her love for me means. Her love always keeps me happy. Although Kim Tolhurst never came to India or met Mehera, she recalled Baba speaking of her in the early days. Baba said she was the closest to him. Of course, this is Kim Tolhurst talking, I think. Of course, we were all very jealous because we wanted to be the closest to him. And we never quite understood, I think, why she was so particularly close. Kim is going on. He once said something very strange, that Mehera was his skin, which we never quite understand and still don't. Which we never quite understood and still don't. And he said that it wasn't because she was outstandingly spiritual, which was also strange. Tina, there was a side note on this page near there it is. Baba did take the women on occasional outings, such as on Sunday, 18 September 1932, when he took them on a day-long picnic and excursion somewhere in the area. Thanks. Baba went on to Switzerland, where he met Otto Bilo, an international businessman interested in spiritual matters, whose daughter, Irene, would one day become very close to Baba. From there, Baba again went to Cairo and on to Ceylon, Sri Lanka. He returned to Nasik on 6 February 1933. Mehera saw Baba dressed in a Western suit only once. He arrived in Nasik from the West wearing a suit, she recalled, and he looked very beautiful. It was an all-white English suit, white slacks, a lovely matching white jacket, and English laced shoes. He was wearing a hat also, but he took it off. His hair was open. He wore the outfit especially so that we might see how he looked in Western clothes. The sidebar says, once Mehera saw Baba using enamel cufflinks also. In one photo from this time, Baba is wearing silk slacks over his lengas. According to Mehera, the slacks were made with a string to tie them like pajamas. I think that's Mehera.
Yes.
Yeah. As an Arabian dancing girl in Nasik, 1932. It's a postcard or overlay from Baba to the Women Mandalay, January 1933. And small portion of Mehera-Mani, taken same day as the Arabian girl, the Brahmin's house in Nasik. And there's little sister Mani and Mehera, with Upper Mehrabad, 1934. Chapter 25, Mani. Meher Baba's father, Shariarji, died in April 1932 during Baba's second visit to the West. And when Baba returned, Shireen Mai and Mani came to discuss the situation. Shireen Mai wanted Mani to stay with her in Pune and eventually to marry. But all her life, Mani had longed for nothing else but to be with Baba, Her struggle to join the ashram, however, was not an easy one. Whenever Mani had school holidays, she visited Baba wherever he was at the time, Toka, Meherabad, or Nasik, but now she wanted to stay with him permanently. Baba told her that she could join the ashram if she stood first in her class. But after she passed her exams every year and was first, Baba still made some excuse to postpone her coming, as he wanted her to continue her education. Finally, Mani made up her mind not to allow Baba to postpone her joining any further. Now, no more schooling. But how could she make Shireen Mai relent? As Baba had said, Mother had to agree to her joining him. Mani had already received marriage proposals. Several came when she was just 12 years old. One was from a prosperous family in Bombay. Mani did not know the boy, but she remembered hearing her aunt say to her mother, "This is such a good family. If Mani asks for water, they will give her milk." Mani was appalled. If I ask for water, they will give me milk? She hated milk. She remembered that her mother replied, "I was married at 14 and my daughter will make up her own mind." One proposal was from a 20-year-old man from Karachi who visited Pune frequently. He wrote many letters expressing his feelings for Mani. Later, he married someone else and came to see Baba. He asked to see Mani, but Baba said, "Now that you have seen me, you must leave." Mani discussed privately with Baba the dilemma of how to join him when Shireen Mai wanted to keep her at home. Behave in such a way that Mother will let you go, he suggested. Though it was difficult for Mani, she began behaving rudely with her mother. She talked back, argued, and did not do things Shireen Mai requested. In the end, the plan worked. Her mother said, "Go to Merog." And when Baba returned from his next foreign journey and wrote her to come, Mani joined the ashram for good shortly after her 14th birthday. Mani did not think her mother ultimately would have stood in her way, but it would have taken her much longer to agree. Baba's method worked much quicker. She did not like to hurt her mother, but nothing was more important than joining Baba. Still, the situation was not completely resolved, and Shireen Mai went ahead with plans to arrange Mani's marriage. For many years, Mani had a skin condition known as leukoderma. This condition occurs when the melanin, the coloring pigment of the skin, decreases and the skin looks whitish. When Mehera first saw Mani as a child, the condition had created a white patch under her right eye. Gradually, it spread. Baba himself applied creams and ointments to it, and Mehera too applied medicine to Mani when she was little. The doctors advised sunbathing, but it did not help, and Mani's skin just turned red. Mani viewed it all as Baba's test, as local Zoroastrians taunted her by saying, Even her own brother, who claims to be a perfect master, can't cure her. Mayor Baba can't even do anything about his own sister. After Mani went to live in Nasik, Shireen Mai was still not happy about it. But Baba did not wish Mani to return to Pune. Once there was a terrific row over it. Shireen Mai and Baba argued heatedly over Mani's future. Finally, grasping Mani's hand, Baba pushed her into a room and locked the door. Shireen Mai asked what he was doing. Baba said, "You are so keen to have her marry. Now let's see how many offers you get." When Shireen Mai opened the door, Mani's leukoderma had flared up and her face was covered with white patches. Horrified, her mother gasped in fright. "Meryl, what have you done?" she said. Baba informed his mother that if Mani did not remain in the ashram, it would become even worse. For about 2 months, Mani was sent to a boarding school in Deolali, a hill resort 4 miles from Nasik. But when Baba sent a few of his mandali to inquire whether she was all right, Mani realized that Baba wanted her back. And soon he did terminate her schooling. Chanji described the situation as he saw it. Shireen Mai wanted to have Mani at home and told Baba so many times. Baba also wanted her, but Shireen Mai would insist. So Baba said, "I will pay a woman to come and look after you." Still, she refused. Baba then said, "Would you be happy if you had a daughter-in-law to be with you?" To this, she agreed. Baba then asked his brother, Baram, to do a very difficult thing and Baba then asked his brother Baram to do a very difficult and distasteful thing to him, namely to marry. This was a terrific test and almost made Baram commit suicide, as he wanted to live with Baba like the other men Mandali. For 3 days he did not eat, but eventually he obeyed Baba. Baram married Perrin, a distant relative chosen by his parents in March 1933, much to Shireen Mai's delight. Nevertheless, she was still reluctant to part with Mani. Chanji continued. This annoyed Baba greatly, and he turned the key. Mani was at home, Baba paying in spiritual terms for her to be there. After a while, she developed the skin disease again. Not infectious or injurious, but nasty. Baba told Shireen Mai, "Let Mani come to me or it will get worse and worse," covering her whole body. Still, the mother refused. The disease grew worse and worse, covering Mani's arms, feet, and legs. Then Shireen Mai said, "Take her away. She may go and be with the 6 women Mandali living apart." The disease remained with her for some time, but Baba But Baba has told her that it will go away as soon as her mother dies. Of course, Baba could make the mother die immediately, but he will not break his own law of perfection. About these events, Baba dictated the following 3 points, which he then had typed and himself signed. 1. This proves I have my own way. 2. Mani's love for me makes her happy to undergo any tortures just to be near and with me. 3. Baron's obedience is proved by this supreme sacrifice. Signed, M.S. Irani. Mani thus joined Meher Baba's ashram permanently, and she related, from the beginning of my stay with Baba, he started out on me. I was very particular about food, not so much about clothes, but finicky about my food. I hated vegetables, but I was very fond of meat, fish, and eggs. Baba strengthens you through your weaknesses, so weaknesses can be a blessing if you hand them over to him. One of the first things Baba did for me was to send me to a doctor, and I had to do whatever the doctor ordered. The doctor gave me certain restrictions. Every Sunday, I was to take castor oil. I wasn't to eat any lentils, no dal, no chickpea flour, which I loved. Besides not having eggs, meat, and fish in the ashram. Rice was all right, but no dal. Naja used to make omelets out of chickpea flour. They were delicious. For me, she used wheat flour, which was tough to chew. I was young and hungry. I would wait for mine to be ready, roll it up, and eat it. For quite some time, I had to follow this order. The doctor also advised plenty of boiled spinach. At home, Shireen Mai cooked spinach for Mani, sauteed with garlic. But Mani did not care for vegetables, no matter how well prepared. I'd turn up my nose at it. But here in Nasik, I had to eat boiled spinach. When it was put before me, I held it up in dismay. It looked like strands of weeds. Mehera, years later, told me, we used to feel so sorry for you. Mani remembered that Baba often looked frail in those days from fasting, but he was really quite strong. For example, he served tea to all from a huge kettle. Baba lifted it effortlessly with one hand, although anyone else would require two. Once, when he was serving the rice and dal from a cauldron, Mani hesitated to take it. Baba asked, "What's the matter? Don't you like rice and dal?" "I love it," she said. "But you told me to do whatever the doctor ordered." "What doctor?" "The doctor you sent me to. He told me not to eat dal." "That doctor," Baba said with a disgusted look, "he's a barber." And there's an asterisk there. Um,
Oh, yeah.
this insult, so that's an insult to call somebody a barber. This insult has its origins in the fact that the very first surgeons were barbers who accompanied troops to the battlefield and performed crude amputation. Modern red and white barbershop poles represent the bloody white dressings of wartime.
Oh, I didn't know that. Rosalie is here. Would you like her to take over?
Sure thing.
Okay, Rosalie.
Okay. Abba then doled out some rice and dal to Mani, and she gobbled it up. Mani says, it was like heaven. Baba made even that seem so great. I had completely forgotten about meat, eggs, and fish. Now just to have dal was so important. That's the way Baba replaces our wants, which we thought were needs. These old habits from so many lives have to be replaced with Baba's habits. I learned very early that you couldn't have it both ways. There's no compromise. It is either Baba or yourself. You can't have Baba and yourself both. It's whatever Baba wants or whatever you want. Boy, that is words for present day. And though Mani was under considerable restrictions in Nasik, those days held some of her fondest memories. Mani speaking, Nasik was very dear to me because it was the beginning of my being with Baba for always. Mani was ordered to be with Mehera at all times. Baba's signal for Mehera was to turn the palm of his hand down, indicating young or small. His sign for Mani was the same, except when he lowered his palm further, meaning smaller, in the sense of younger. For instance, if someone asks, do you want to call Mani? When he really wanted Mehera, Baba raised his palm higher. Sometimes for Mehera, Baba first pointed to himself, indicating my, and then gestured with his palm. And the sidebar says, small Khorshid had a rather prominent nose, as Baba's sign for her was to point to his nose. About herself, Mani recalled, when I first joined Baba, I was an intense, serious person. We were very earnest teenagers who had taken this on. You can see it in our pictures, none of us smiling. We were terribly earnest, serious, and solemn about it. Your training was like that in the beginning. Your every moment, your every thought, your every action was not yours, but Baba's. There was no room in any part of your life for yourself. It was as Baba wants, what he wants, when he wants, how he wants. Nothing was your own. No need, no want, no thought, no moment was your own. It was wholly Baba's. When we were with Baba, when reality touches illusion, we had nothing but our poverty, purity, obedience, and surrender. Yet our life was full. I was a teenager, yet there was nothing else I wanted or even looked to. I need you to scroll, Tina. Our total focus 24 hours was on Baba. We were full. We never felt deprived. We never felt a lack of something. We never felt doubts over what we had done. You can have nothing and be full. And in illusion, you can have everything and feel empty. We had to come to Baba, not for anything except to be with him, to have his company. That's all we wanted. We accepted all the conditions of absolute obedience, chastity, poverty. Of course, there were light moments, but they were also in Baba. The pleasure was when it was Baba's pleasure. The work was when Baba wanted us to do it. Meditation was constantly in every act and thing that we did because he wanted us to do that. It was his orders to do it. You can go ahead and scroll. Apart from the basic orders of absolute obedience, chastity, and poverty, there were the different orders for each one, for every individual. My orders were different according to what my likes and dislikes were, but they were given so gently, so beautifully, never blatantly. Baba was as a conductor, a director. He had no match anywhere. In life with Baba, not doing was just as important as doing. There were so many orders not to do this, not to do that, not to get angry, not to eat this, not to go out when you feel like it, not to be in the sun, even if it were just stepping outside for a moment. So many of the knots have been very much a part of our life with Baba. That which you cannot write about or boast about. It's not an achievement, as a matter of fact. It is a non-achievement, an erasing rather than an adding. And Baba was very good at that. Life with Baba was simply not doing this and not doing that. Not doing what you want to do, that is something. Whatever it was, we had to obey Baba. No matter how little the things were that we had to do, not on the subtle side, but on the practical side. For instance, at 10 o'clock, I had to take this particular tonic for myself. At 10:30, I had to take this vitamin pill. At 11 o'clock, I had to remember to tell Mehera something. At 2 o'clock, I had to take the bird here. At 3 minutes before that, I had to do this. All these little tiny things. And if something happened at that time, you mustn't forget. Nothing that, as I say, you can boast about. But just as important as any other order of Baba's, which kept you absolutely occupied all the time. Your mind is occupied with Baba because it is, Baba wants you to do this. Baba will come now. I must remember to do such and such. All the time, it was a fantastic meditation that was continuous. It was like walking a tightrope. You don't look to the right or left, just go straight. Our concentration was wholly on Baba, not even on each other. We were like an open umbrella. All the spokes connected to the very center, but the spokes don't touch each other. In fact, in Nasik, we didn't touch each other except to minister to someone's health. We never touched each other unless we absolutely had to. We never combed or braided each other's hair, for example. You could go ahead and scroll, Tina. We loved each other, but that didn't mean we were always loving with each other. The whole concentration and focus was only and always on Baba. Therefore, it was that intense earnestness. It wasn't an easy thing. People ask me, what did you think about? What do you think when you were hanging from a cliff from the tips of your fingers? You don't think, you just hold on. That's a way to hang on to him. When we came to Baba, we were told not to read any spiritual books, not even Baba books. We were just empty for whatever he wanted to fill us with, however he wanted, with no expectation or thought of anything except to be with Baba. It's no joke being with Baba, but it's the only thing worth your whole life. Mani concluded with this illustrative quote. Baba once asked those around him, who would die for me right now? Several put up their hands, and Baba commented, dying is easy, for it is done in a moment. But living for me is difficult, because it is dying every moment. The women Mandali and Nasik had no connection with the world, no reading of newspapers or books, no gossip about things in the world outside. They were kept strictly aloof. With Mani's arrival, however, Mehera asked Baba to allow at least Mani to read so that she would be able to practice and improve her English, and Baba permitted it. From time to time, Mani received British comic books sent to her by her relatives in Pune. The comics contained stories for schoolgirls. Each month, a new issue came. Mani told Baba about them and asked whether she could read these, and Baba said yes. He had stopped Mehera from reading almost 10 years before, but now he allowed Mani to read these as well. But now he allowed Mehera to read these as well. Writing was still not allowed in the ashram, though Nacha was permitted to write shopping lists. And the sidebar says, Mehera was also given copies of the Meher Message and Meher Gazette, and was allowed to thumb through them and read certain articles. And this is Mehera speaking. I love to read the children's comics, Mehera related. Someone from Mani's home would send us a nice bag full of comics. We saved them all, but Mani gave them away in the new life. I didn't want to. I was saving them to give to some children. 2 I saved. We read them to Baba, and he liked them. Baba liked innocent children's books. He was very childlike, as well as the highest of the high. Every quality in Baba was beautiful. That was Mehera speaking. Baba gave Mani a necklace.
Do you see it?
Yeah, I do now. Yeah. Baba gave a necklace. Baba gave Mani a necklace made of green glass beads with a tiny white design on them. He instructed her to wear the necklace always, even while taking a bath. Baba gave a necklace to Mehera also of colored glass. Since Mehera's was long and heavy, however, Baba told her she did not have to wear it every minute of the day. Sometime later, Baba took them on a picnic somewhere in Nasik and told them to play a game. Mehera was running with the necklace on and it broke. But the necklace was strong in such a way that there was a knot before every bead. So all of the beads did not fall off. Everyone helped her look for the ones that had fallen, and they found them all. And I'm going to read another sidebar. Later, after the new life, when Mehera wanted to reread a few stories from these comics to Baba, she teased Mani about why she had given them away. Never mind, Mani said. Now we have Rex Stout and PG Wodehouse. Let's see. Okay. Mani wore her necklace. Wait a minute. Okay. Mani wore her necklace for a number of years until it too fell apart. Although Mani was Baba's little sister, once she joined the ashram, she was not given any special treatment. Mani said, when I joined Baba for good, it was not like wading into an ocean. First up to the ankle, then up to the calf. It was a plunge. From the start, it was intense, but it was the only thing in the world I wanted.
There's Mani and her mother.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who these people are.
Oh, yeah. Well, Mehera certainly is there.
Yeah,
Yeah, list them all.
it's hard when it's on the side like
Yeah,
that.
it's too bad because it's a great picture, and in it is Elizabeth Patterson. You can see them all. There's Delia. Whoops, now it's flipping. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's Elizabeth to the far right, sitting down. That's Nadja, the far left, sitting down. Okay. Westerners visit. Preparations were being made for a group of Westerners to visit India and spend 6 months touring the country with Baba. There was no space for the group to stay in Nasik, so Chandji was sent to Bombay to make the necessary arrangements, and he rented a bungalow for them in Kandavli, near Bombay. Initially, Baba had announced that he would take the Indian women with him on the tour, but then he changed his mind. On 17 March 1933, Adi Jr. in Nasik wrote to Chandji explaining the change of plans. At first, the Indian ladies were also to go, but it would be too much of a headache for Baba to attend to both parties. Ladies and Kimco, the English group, at the same time. This will further be difficult for the fact that we are reserving only compartments and not a whole bogie train car. So the party will be divided in different bogies. And R and Derna, inside ladies, calling them Anderna, will get huffy. And if Baba sits with Anderna ladies, Kimco will feel it. So that's why Baba had decided not to take the Indian gopis on the tour and has decided upon another plan, which is to take Anderna females to Bombay on the 25th, take them to some picnic place like Golwad or Garapuri, and then Kimco comes to make them associate and mingle with the Easterners, who will stay in Bombay for 3 days, not 24 hours, as was decided before. Kimco, that's the Western group, will stay in Bombay on the 7th, 8th, and 9th at the Majestic Hotel. And Baba with Dharma ladies, that's the women mandali, the early ones, at Kandavli. They're saying Kandivli, but I've heard it as Kandavli. Kimco will come to Kandavli early morning at 10 and stay there till the evening, lunching at the hotel near Kandavli. In the evening, the whole party will go out for a drive, see Dinshaw, Marker, and arrange to have Kandavli bungalow from the 25th. Baba did not take the women to Bombay on the 25th, after all, but took them instead to Bandagara for 4 days. On 3 April, however, he took the Eastern women to Kandavli by train via Igatpuri. And the sidebar says, Bandagara, 55 miles from Nasik, is a quiet, out of the way holiday resort with picnic spots, a large lake surrounded by forested trees, and a waterfall. And I have to add, Elizabeth Patterson took a picture of Baba that is most beautiful near this lake. For a change, Baba wanted the women mandali to dress in their best saris and look young when they met their Western counterparts. He instructed Franey to shop for them and to buy whatever they needed in the way of cosmetics and nicer clothes. Franey bought face powder in compacts, lipstick, silk saris, even sheer stockings, and fancy high-heeled shoes. Baba told the women to use it all. For 8 years, their hair had been kept hidden under a white cloth. Now Baba said, quote, stop wearing the matubanu. It's like a nun. Your hair is totally covered. And fix your hair nicely. Living in the ashram all those years, they were out of practice and unfamiliar with the latest hairstyles. How to do their hair. Mehera clipped hers at the ears and left it loose at the back, thick, long, and lovely. We were always dressed in plain clothes with very simple plain hair for years. We didn't care about our hair. We didn't have any practice to do our hair in style. All of a sudden, Baba said we must dress stylishly and use lipstick also. We felt shy, but I think Baba was being naughty and testing the Western lovers. He had told them that the ashram girls had left everything. And then all of a sudden we appeared like this. They must have thought we were very simple and wore plain clothes. And here Baba was going to show them how nice we looked to test them, to see what their impression about Baba was. The Westerners were expecting ascetic nuns, and they found lovely, attractive, well-dressed young women in makeup. Baba wanted to give them a shock. Baba did so many things to test their preconceived ideas. Mehera had previously worn her hair in a broad, plain plait. You call it plait, like a braid?
Flat.
Plait, okay. But when she was 20, let's see, 5, she started losing her hair. And by the way, her hair was described by Anita Licaro as like a waterfall of hair, this unbelievably gorgeous hair,
Really?
wavy. I mean, way long. But she would put it up and, put the matubanu over it. Yeah, but she was losing it, later on. But probably it got suffocated under the matubanu,
But she said when she was 25, she started losing her hair.
Yeah. But, they had that matubanu on there, That's
What is that?
It's like a nun. They had a white cloth. You didn't even see any hair. It covered the hair over the forehead and the ears. The hair did not show at all.
Wow.
Like a nun.
Yeah.
Let's see, Baba. Let's see. Oh, here it says, Baba noticed, okay, Mehera had previously worn her hair in a broad, long plait. But when she was 25, she started losing her hair, and a gray hair also appeared. Baba noticed it on the train to Igakpuri that day. Mehera was sitting opposite him, and he leaned over and stared intently at her forehead. What's this? He asked. Gray hair? He told Franny to pluck it out, and she did. Baba wanted them to look their best and did not like gray hair on Mehera. Would you believe I was only 25 and my hair was turning gray already? I had such nice hair, really gorgeous hair. But this was the result of wearing those scarves, the natubanu, all the time. The white cloth was tied so our hair was not seen in back or front. The hair was rolled up in a bun. It wasn't healthy for the hair. Hair needs sunshine, fresh hair. I tell Mani that when we were young and had nice hair, we had to wear a scarf all the time. When my hair turned gray, all funny colors, Baba told me to wear it out open. Mani says that's just Baba's way. Baba and the Eastern women stayed at the bungalow at Kandavli for 4 days before the Westerners' arrival. Marker was a wealthy Parsi, and his elaborate 2-storied house was comfortably furnished with a large hall and bedroom upstairs and a broad terrace on all sides. But they did not have to stay indoors all of the time. Baba took the women for leisurely walks along the nearby hills. Since Gulmai and most of the others did not speak much English, Franny, who knew English well, had been chosen to receive the Westerners. She met them at the dock in Bombay and brought them to Kandavli at 2 p.m. on the 7th of April. Before the Westerners arrived, Baba had an idea for a practical joke. He said playfully, I am going to hide. When the Westerners come, tell them they must find me. Mehera, who was very conscious of appearing cultured and well-bred, especially to a group of foreigners, was flustered. Here we haven't even met them, and we have to tell them Baba's hiding. Go and find him. It was too funny. She used to say too funny, you know. I think it was kind of embarrassing. It means when the Westerners, she meant embarrassing. When the Westerners arrived at the bungalow, they came up the steps, eager to see Baba after an interval of 4 months. The Easterners were on the porch, waiting in dignified poses to greet them. Where's Baba? You need to scroll, Tina. Where's Baba? The Westerners asked. The Easterners explained, Baba is hiding. Go and find him. But Khorshid, who knew only a smattering of English, kept repeating, found him, found him. The Western women raced up and down the veranda, around the terrace, and through the house. It was Delia of the Kimco group who found Baba hiding in the corner of the bathroom behind a tall cupboard. I found him, she shouted. When everyone had gathered, Baba said, Delia has found me first, so I will embrace her first. Then he embraced each one and introduced the two groups. Yes, yeah, I don't know who was translating his gestures. It could have even been Mani or Mehera, any of them, but he was silent already. Delia found me first, so I will embrace her first. Then he embraced each one and introduced the two groups. With Baba were Mehera, Mani, Nacha, Small Khorshid, Big Khorshid, Walu, Frani, Sunamasi, Gulmai, her daughters Dolly, Pilamai, her daughters Silla, and Dina Talati, and her daughter Jeru. The sidebar says, Dalat Mai had stayed in Nasik with Frani's children. That's Frani and Rustam had 4 children. The English group of Westerners were Kitty Davy, Margaret Krask, Mabel Ryan, Audrey Williams, Minta Toledano, Delia De Leon, and Christine McNaughton. Quentin Todd had also come, but was not introduced, although he saw Mehera when he took the photograph on page 256. And the sidebar says, Elizabeth took 2 other photos of the group with Quentin sitting in the front. And I will say about Elizabeth, Baba liked her to take his picture because she didn't ask him to pose, because of course every pose he was working, his avatar. So he liked her taking his picture, and she took some great ones. From the United States were Elizabeth Patterson, who had been to India before, Narina Machabelli, and Vivian Geeson, who had replaced Kim Tolhurst, whose husband would not let her go. There were thus 14 Eastern women, 10 Western women, and 1 man. During the introductions, Delia, who was 32, asked how old Mehera was. Baba was so mischievous, Mehera said. I was 26, but Baba told her I was only 21. Mani pointed out that during this early phase, the Eastern women almost never embraced the Westerners. Interactions between the two groups were circumspect and subdued then. They had Baba, and we had Baba. It was not like today. After the introductions, there was an entertainment program. Margaret and Mabel danced, and others sang. Audrey, whom Mani recalled as one of the loveliest women they had ever met, did a dance wearing a full skirt. Vivian, an interpretive dancer who had lovely green eyes, Mehera remembered, asked everyone to move back so that she would have more space to perform. Baba told Mani to demonstrate an Indian dance, which she did while small portions sang. Mani also acted a short play about a school teacher whose spectacles are perched precipitously on the tip of her nose. As there were men present during most of the program, however, Mehera went upstairs. Dolly went with her to keep her company. Afterwards, at 8 p.m., the Westerners returned to their hotel in Bombay. The Westerners have been looking forward to meeting the Eastern gopis, especially Mehera, and they were not disappointed. Here are a few of their recollections of that first meeting.
That's where we'll stop.
Perfect. Yeah. Wow.
I'm trying to stop the recording.